Hi everybody, welcome to another video. It's good to see you again. Now, before I start, I just want to take the opportunity to welcome two new members to the channel who've joined recently. Big welcomes to Joshua Wilson and to Anthony Campbell. If you're watching, I'm pleased to have you as principal consultant members. I'm looking forward to getting to know you very, very soon. Thanks to all my members who continue to support the channel brilliantly as you always have. It's massively appreciated. If you've not subscribed to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button right now. It helps me so much, and I just reached 9,000 subscribers. I cannot believe the journey that we've been on together. 9,000 in a little over a year and a half. I'm so pleased with that. Let's go for the big one now, 10K. We can do it together. Thanks again so much for your support. Anyway, on to the video today. It's going to be all about onboarding Microsoft Defender to your macOS devices. I'm a Mac user, as many people know, and I didn't intend to start this video this way. It was going to be an AI Hub in Purview video, but there were some prerequisites that needed your device onboarded to Defender for endpoints. So I've gone a little around the houses. I want to get back to that AI Hub video, but it's morphed. And this, I think, is a video that is useful anyway, one I've been planning for a while. So let's check in right now. Let's look at the story so far, because it's still in motion at the end of this video. I'll warn you, it's not yet fully complete. But this is all about onboarding your macOS device to Microsoft Defender for endpoint. Let's check it out. So ever since I started looking at Purview AI Hub in preview, I've been wanting to do more with it and share with you in a video. Now, in order to do that, I need to tweak some of the policies that I set up in my first look at this feature. So here I am in editing the Microsoft AI Hub browsing and AI assistance policy. And I've got to turn on indicators for activities that will trigger the policy. Now, I want to have as many indicators as I can, and these include device indicators, so we can get lots of good analytics. But device indicators, 0 of 15 selected, onboard devices to use these indicators. So this led me into needing to onboard my Mac into Defender for Endpoint. And we're going to switch gears now and look at exactly that process. So just to reinforce the point that I am using a MacBook Pro. I don't actually own a Windows device. I prefer Mac, but that's by the by. And the first thing that you need to do to start the process of onboarding your Mac device onto Defender for Endpoint is you need to have the device registered with Intune. So I'm not going to go through the process of how you do that in this video. I'm going to focus on the Defender for Endpoint part. It's very easy to get your MacBook into Intune. We might do that on another video. But here is my MacBook Pro. It's in Intune. It's owned personally. It's compliant. My OS is Mac OS. It tells me my version, etc., etc. So all good. Step one complete. So to do this, with specifically Microsoft Purview in mind, you don't actually have to be in the Defender portal, although you can have this exact same experience by going to security.microsoft.com into the Defender portal and going into settings, and you can get to this exact same experience. It will get you into device onboarding. You can go into devices, onboarding, offboarding. So we are in onboarding now, and we can see the steps that we need to take. We can choose the operating system that we want to start the onboarding process. So in my case, I want to onboard Mac OS. Before I go any further, I will just say that I've already got this installed on the MacBook that I'm using right now, so I'm not going to go through the process of actually repeating that, but I'll talk you through it and I'll demonstrate through some of the screenshots on the learn.microsoft.com pages exactly the steps that happened, because it literally was exactly that. There was no difference. So What you can do next is you can choose your deployment method. Now, local script for up to 10 machines is pretty much there for if you've only got a small amount of machines, as I've only got one personal. So I did this. You would do this if you wanted a test, but if you've got a large deployment to do, then you would do the mobile device management Microsoft Intune method. So I'm going to go local script for up to 10 machines. And what you need to do is download the installation package and then download an onboarding package. Now, it's telling me here that you can configure a single device by running a script locally. And note that the script has been optimized for usage with a limited number of devices. There you go. It's just reinforcing the point that to deploy at scale, please use the other deployment options above before downloading these packages. And you can review the instructions, which will take you to a learn.microsoft.com page. So download the installation package, download the onboarding package. The installation package in Mac case will have not an exe, it's the brain's gone blank, but it's the installation package extension for Mac, which you can browse to your downloads folder, double click on it, and it will run a GUI installation wizard. Okay, and the download and onboarding package that downloads a zip file, which you'll have to expand, and then you need to go to not Windows, to Mac Terminal to run bash commands to install the onboarding package, which connects it back to your tenant. So think of this as a two-stage process. You download the installation package, you run it, it installs Windows Defender, Windows again, it installs Microsoft Defender for Endpoint onto your Mac OS device. But that's all it does. It doesn't connect you to your tenant. The onboarding package is what does that. Okay. So next, I ran the manual deployment for Microsoft Defender for Endpoint on Mac OS. So here is the learn.microsoft.com article for doing that. There are similar deployment guides for deploying with Intune, which are equally as straightforward to follow. So let's just go through this. This tells you that it applies to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Plan 1, Defender for Endpoint Plan 2. And it's important to point out that you must have a valid license assigned to any user that you want to enroll their device in Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and connect it back to your tenant. So Microsoft Defender XDR is there as well. And Defender XDR is comprised of a number of different Defender products, not just Endpoint, as we are working on here. So we've got some prerequisites, so take a look at those. Check out the macOS page. Download the installation and onboarding packages. It tells you how to do that. We've already done that, so it's just showing you how to do that. Here we go. Application install. We are going to install Defender for Endpoint onto our Mac device, and to do that, we can either do that via double clicking the installation file. It's PKG. It's a package file. That's it. I couldn't remember in the last step. So we've downloaded that. That will be in your downloads folder on your Mac device. Double click and it'll run it from the Finder. This is the easiest way to do it. If you're codey and like all that stuff, you can do it from the terminal if you prefer. But easy to do from the Finder, and double click on that wdav.pkg. It opens up the installation wizard. You click on continue, read through the software licensing agreement. Of course, you're going to do that. Click continue, agree to install the software, select the hard disk on your Mac that you want to install it to, and click continue. You must have about 777 megabytes of space, which isn't a lot, and click install. You'll have to put in your local admin password for the Mac that you're on and click on install software. At the end of the process, there might be a couple of prompts for you to go into the system settings and enable some things. So you might see this system extension blocked. and you'll need to open security preferences. Now, just do note here that the instructions here are a little out of date because this is showing instructions for macOS Big Sur. The latest version of macOS is Sonoma, if I'm saying that right. There'll be another one coming out soon, actually, and is in preview right now. So you need to make sure that system software from identified developers is enabled. So you'll need to go into the details and enable this installation and tick on Microsoft Defender. Make sure that's enabled. I didn't actually have that experience in Sonoma, so you may or may not get that. So there we go. And then you'll see this Microsoft Defender ATP would like to filter network content. You can click on allow to do that. And you are good to go. Okay, fantastic. Now, what you need to do next is make sure that you allow full disk access for Defender for Endpoint. Otherwise, it's going to complain about a few things. So go into your Apple button at the top left of your screen and click System Preferences. And in this version, it's security and privacy, but in the latest version, it's actually privacy and security the other way around. And click on full disk access and make sure that Defender and the Defender security extension are ticked there. And you should be all good to go. It does tell you to do a restart for the system extensions to take effect. I don't think I had to do that, but it's always a good policy to do so. So there we go. And at the end of that, you will see at the top right in your notifications bar that some background items are added. I got exactly this. These screenshots I'm showing you here are exactly the experience that I had. And that is pretty much the process complete. Now, at this stage, this is where, when I first attempted this, I got a bit impatient and didn't read enough and didn't read ahead and realized that I would have to do the onboarding package as well. So, full disclaimer there, I was being a bit of a clown there. No offense to clowns out there, by the way. And I thought, well, that's me done. It's going to just log me in and connect to my tenant and all's going to be good. But what I found is on your top bar, you get a little Defender for Endpoint shield symbol on your top bar. If you click on that, it was saying that I wasn't connected and I had no license found. Now I thought to myself, well, I've assigned a Microsoft Defender for Endpoint Plan 1 license to my user account in my Microsoft 365 tenant. What could be going wrong? So what on earth was going wrong here? I had this action needed, but this is what I saw: no license found. What on earth? So I looked further down this and I realized that I hadn't ran that onboarding package. So this is crucial to that whole process to get you connected and back to your tenant. And that will result in you getting uh, all okay in the Defender for Endpoint software. So you need to run that onboarding package. Make sure a license is assigned to the user. That's another thing to watch out for. And just make sure that you're checking all of these things if you see that particular error. So make sure you've got that Defender for Endpoint checkbox right there in the user or users that you want to run. There you go. So back in the instructions for the manual onboarding, the next step that you see is onboarding the package. Once you've installed the MDE on the macOS client, you must now onboard the package. That's why I was getting the license issue, because I hadn't read ahead. You see, I'm like that. I'm flawed. Okay, so you can check first and foremost if the Defender has been onboarded via using the terminal. So go into your terminal in your Mac device, which you can find from the launch pad, and typing in terminal, launch it, and then just type in this command here, which is mdatp space health, field org ID, and that will show you whether you are connected or not. And if the org ID attribute is blank, then you're not associated with an org. So what you need to do to onboard is run this command here, which is sudo bash -x Microsoft Defender ATP onboarding macOS.sh. Now just make sure that you put in not necessarily this here before the sh, but look at the onboarding file that you downloaded earlier, and the file may have a different name. In fact, for me, it definitely did. It was something else completely. So just make sure you replace this bit here with whatever the file name, the sh file that you downloaded, and then execute that. Then, when that is done, you can verify once again that your device is onboarded by running this mdatp health field org ID command. And if successful, you'll get this nice little green shield on your top bar, and it will show you that all is good. And you can do an mdatp connectivity test as well. And if you just do mdatp space health and leave out the additional stuff there, it gives you a lot more details, and I'll show you that in just a second. So here you can see, as I highlight this is in the terminal now, and I put in that command mdatp health and then the field org ID, and it gives me that result there. So that's good. That's getting me the ID that I need. If I just put in mdatp health, it gives me a lot more detail. So this is cool. It shows that I'm healthy. It shows me a lot of cool stuff here, that I'm cloud enabled, that I have a definition status of up to date. Most importantly, I have full disk access enabled. This will become key very, very shortly as we move back into Purview. But we've got some good stuff there. So that is excellent and very, very straightforward. So check that out. Make sure that this is all looking nice and healthy and up to date. So what I want to do now is just drop into the Microsoft Defender portal, security.microsoft.com. I'm in as a global admin here. Always point out that you should always use the permissions that you need only, but for demo purposes, it's more effective to use global admin. And I want to navigate down to assets and devices. So let's have a look. And there we go. I now have my MacBook Pro in my device inventory in the Defender portal. This is excellent. It's telling me my IP address, criticality level, nothing in there at the moment, my device category, device type, domain, device Azure AD ID, enter ID please, Microsoft, if I've told you once. Risk levels, OS platform, the OS version, Sonoma, still not entirely comfortable with saying that word. Sensor health state, last device update, managed by Intune, and managed by status unknown. So, and there's a few other columns there. So managed by Intune, that's because I am enrolled into Intune beforehand, even though I onboarded manually. So that's great. If we click on the device, we can see some more details about it. We can get an overview of it, and we can see all the device details, first seen, last seen, go away WhatsApp notification. I should have turned that off. Now, this is important. Configuration not updated. We'll come back to that in due course, but this is a problem that I have as yet not solved. Incidents and alerts. We can see anything in here for incidents and alerts. So I don't think I'm seeing anything in here just yet. No, that seems to be blank at the moment. We can see any security policies that are associated. We've got a bit of an issue getting the device's policies report. So we've got a ways to go getting this perfect just at the moment. Okay. So switching back to the Purview portal, the new Purview portal, purview.microsoft.com. You can still do this in the compliance portal as well. It's not as easy to find though. Switching from the onboarding section, let's go into devices. And for some reason, no matter what I do the last few days, I'm getting this client error. This won't go away. If I copy the diagnostic information and look at it, it tells me a whole bunch of nothing. I'm ignoring that. And I'm seeing two devices in here at the moment. And I'll tell you why in just a second. The second one in the list here, the Peters MacBook Pro 3 one, I noticed that had the wrong name for my MacBook, and I wasn't quite sure why. But when I looked in the terminal, when I'd onboarded it originally, my first attempt, it had Peters MacBook Pro 3 listed in the terminal as the name of the device. But that contradicts with the name of the device in Intune. So I thought, well, I wonder if that's causing the problem that I'm seeing here, that the configuration status is not updated. So I offboarded it. I went into offboarding. And it's pretty much the same process as onboarding. You download a package and you run it, and it uninstalls everything, and off goes Defender for Endpoint off your machine. So I waited a little while, reinstalled, and this time it installed with Peter's MacBook Pro, the correct name. No idea why that happened, and no idea why I can't get rid of this original entry. Oops, I clicked on it there. That's frustrating the heck out of me. Hopefully it'll just disappear eventually, because that is no longer the current installation. This is the current one, and let's just collapse the side panel for a second, and we've got things looking okay apart from this. We've got our policy sync status is updated. Last seen OS version and valid user, first onboarded date, and oh, please, WhatsApp, stop doing that. And then we've got Peter's MacBook Pro configuration status not updated. So what the heck is all that about? So I click onto this, and it's telling me that my DLP policy sync is updated. So that's all good. Lots of good stuff there. But configuration not updated. This device is not properly configured. Use our recommendations below to complete the configuration so your policies work as intended. If that doesn't solve the problem, contact Microsoft support. So my UPN is fine. Accessibility is not available. Full disk access is not available. Au contraire, you might recall I went to great lengths to point out in the terminal that I shared with you a short while ago, full disk access is available. I am going to pause this video and I'm going to log out of WhatsApp because that's driving me crazy. Right, that's better. So what I thought I would do next is I would take a look at deploying Microsoft Defender for Endpoint with Intune instead of that local installation. So I went back and I took everything off again, and I went and did this that I'm showing you here. This learn.microsoft.com article tells you how to do it with Intune. So here we go. And basically what you have to do here is within the Intune admin center in configuration profiles, you have to create a bunch of them. And the first one is approve system extensions. So network filter, and then full disk access, which you'll recall is one of the things that's complaining at for me. And basically what you have to do is you have to download this config from a GitHub repository, and it's basically an XML file which you've got to put into a policy that you create in Intune. I'll show you that in a second. So we've got full disk access, got background services, got notifications, accessibility settings. This was the other thing it was complaining about. So, and this page is exhaustive. There's a ton of stuff in here that you've got to do. So there you go. So I'm going to switch to the Intune portal next and show you those that I created. So here we are in the Intune portal, and we are in device onboarding. We're not actually, no, we're in managed devices, we're in configuration. And these are the ones that I've created here. Most of these are custom types, but there is one that is an extension type. And you will notice I've got accessibility, prod, macOS default MDE, and I've got the full disk access one as well. If you go into this, you can see that exactly what these are. So if we can see that this has succeeded to deploy to one device, we can view the report on that. Let's do so. and yeah, it's gone to my MacBook Pro, which is awesome. We like that. Awesome stuff. Accessibility, let's check that one as well. View report. My MacBook Pro, all is good. Job is a good one, a good one. And there's these other ones here as well. So there is a compliance policy as well, Mac compliance. So that is a compliance policy that you have to do as part of that Intune deployment. Now, if I go back to my device here in Intune, if I click onto it, it says it's compliant. What I can do here, if I go into device configuration, it is saying that most of these have succeeded. There are some errors on 3 of these. Now, we've got 2 versions of this MDATP onboarding, 2 slightly different XML files. If you're watching this and tearing your hair out saying you've done this all wrong, please let me know, because I'm at this point a little bit bewildered, I have to admit. But the important part is that, in my view, the bits it's complaining about in Purview, the full disk access and the accessibility, are absolutely fine. It's succeeded. It's all good from that point of view. A nice success message there. So I'm not really sure what the go back into there. It's so uninstinctive, these portals at times. Back into device configuration. These background services ones, I might try recreating these, but it doesn't really give you an awful lot of detail in terms of error codes, but there you have it. And that's as far as I've got right now. I remain at this impasse of not being able to get past this. No matter what I do, no matter how I tweak and try, I'm just not getting past this configuration not updated, despite the fact that every indication I have shows that accessibility and full disk access is enabled. But in the portal here in Purview, it's telling me that it's not. So I've successfully deployed Defender for Endpoint to my Mac device, but and it's showing in Intune, it's showing in Defender portal, it's showing in the Purview device portal here, but this bit here is hampering me very, very much so. And that ultimately is because if I go to AI Hub, which is where this video began, and I look at my policies and I want to tweak them and get them working so I can get some good data, then I'm really struggling, because it continues to tell me that I need to turn on indicators, and I was able to activate the Defender for Endpoint indicator, so that's working just fine, but the device indicators still telling me to onboard devices to use these indicators. I have no idea whether I would encounter this same thing in onboarding a Windows device. I may try that if I get the time and motivation. I'd need to spin up a Windows 11 virtual machine because I don't own a Windows device. But I'm frustrated at the moment, I have to admit. So if you're a Mac person, if you're a Purview person, a Defender person, if you're screaming at me right now saying, you've missed this, you've done this wrong, let me know. But this started out as a video where I wanted to demo more of AI Hub, but it's morphed into a setting up Defender for Endpoint on your Mac device, which I think is a useful video anyway, and I think it's going to be part 1 of 2 at least, or maybe as many. So let's see where this goes, eh? There you go, some frustrations for sure. I've had some ups and downs along this journey, and I'm not done yet. So if, as I've already said, you were shouting away at the screen there saying, Peter, for goodness sake, you've missed this, it's so simple, do let me know. I'd much appreciate it. I've asked other members of the Purview and Defender community, and no one's had an answer for me so far. I've resisted the opportunity to do what it suggests in the Purview portal and reach out to Microsoft support, because I'm not really too enthusiastic about that being too useful. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm sure we'll get to the answer together, and once I do, I will share it to be sure. Right, do hit that subscribe button if you've not already done so. If, like Josh and Anthony, you want to become a member, click the join button, and many others of my wonderful members. I've got so many members now, I'm so happy. And let's leave it there. I will see you in another video very, very soon. Take care, enjoy this hot weather. I'm not, because I don't like the heat, but if you enjoy it, if you do, and take care. Bye.